Hey guys, working today with a chicken water. I'm making a relatively cheap and easy chicken water out of a few assorted goodies here, so let's get started. We're going to need a 5-gallon Igloo cooler with a spigot, like so. I've got some 3/4 inch pipe, PVC of course, some parts and accessories that go for that. This is a hose adapter, so slip it on one side and the hose will attach there, and a 3/4 inch cap. Got some PVC cement just for attaching the pieces to the PVC. I've got this is what I'm going to be using for the hose. I'm going to cut some extra hose that I've got laying around, and go ahead and splice this on so that I've got a small section coming from the Igloo to the PVC pipe. This is the spigot that I'm going to use. It has a 1-inch side and a 3/4 inch side with a simple turn valve. Just a couple of other things. I've got some plumber's tape. I've got the rubber gasket for the Igloo, and I've got a couple of assorted pieces for attaching the spigot to the Igloo. I've got a bag of pipe straps. I'm going to attach these to a couple of 2x4s so that the PVC pipe lays as horizontal as possible, and some wood screws. Now, if everything goes well, I won't have any leaks and will not have to use any of this stuff, the epoxy or the epoxy putty. I really hope I don't have to use this stuff, but just in case, I have it here just for leaks. Now, as far as tools, what we're going to need is a drill, of course, for screwing stuff, drilling stuff into the 2x4s, putting some screws in there. But also, you're going to make some holes in the PVC pipe. I've got, for these particular chicken nipples, I need a 5/16 drill bit and an 11 millimeter driver. This is the screwdriver that I'm going to be using with. Some pipe cutters, because this whole section of pipe will not fit where I want to put it. And for my particular use, I've got to do a little bit of trimming of some wire, some hardware wire, chicken wire that I've got around the coop, just to make everything fit. So that's what I'm going to need. Okay, so first thing that we want to do is we want to remove this. So when we go inside here, you're going to see it's just a couple of plastic pieces that we're going to want to unscrew. Remove all of this, the rubber washer, and we should be able to pull this straight out. So we'll take all this stuff. We'll leave the rubber washer because this is really the only thing, because it's we might need this for the spigot coming in. So now we're ready to put this spigot onto the Igloo. First thing, before we do that, we're going to get our plumber's tape and we're going to put it on this thread here. This is the 1/2 inch thread that we're going to put into the Igloo and seal everything up. So we want to make sure that we have an absolutely good connection here. So we need to get this installed into the Igloo and get all of our hardware put on back here. Okay, so I've got the spigot installed here and all of our hardware on the back snugged and tightened in. Next thing that we need to do is do a real quick leak test so that if need be, we could put some epoxy around this joint right here. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a good layer of epoxy on. I went ahead and used this water weld epoxy putty. It's really easy to use. You just go ahead and cut off however much you're going to use, and then knead it in between your fingers and just apply like so. So it's applied. It's got to set up for at least an hour, preferably a couple of hours before you go ahead and use anything. So I'm going to be on the cautious side and just let it sit for probably, in all actuality, it's probably going to be about 24 hours before I test this again. Just because I want to get a good amount of time to let this set up and give me a good full cure. And while I let it sit here, we're going to go work on the PVC pipe and get everything else installed. Okay, so we're out here at the chicken coop, and this is where we are going to install the watering system. Out back here behind the coop, this is the door that I get in here and do everything. I'm actually going to put it down here below the house and into the run. The coop is open to the run all the time. I've got some hardware wire and chicken wire down here, so that, you know, no critters can get to the chickens and the chickens can't get out and all whatnot. Now over here I've got some concrete blocks set up. This is where the cooler is going to go. Might be a little high, but that's the great thing, is that I can, with the hose, I can run down to about where I want to put the PVC pipe. So, of course, this will be on the inside, but I think about yay high is where I want to put the PVC pipe. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of cutting on the chicken wire over here, and I'm going to mark the PVC pipe with a Sharpie, and then we'll cut it and do some installation of the chicken nipples and get everything set up. So we've got our PVC marked here. That is where we're gonna cut to make it fit inside the coop, and that is the wire that we cut to allow for access from the cooler to the pipe, so that we can get in there and actually have everything working like it should be. So I'm going to cut the pipe now with my pipe cutters and put the PVC cement on and hopefully go get this put up. Okay, so really easy. Here's the mark that we're gonna cut on, and these are some really nice ratcheting pipe cutters. So what we're gonna want to do is we're just gonna let the pipe rest on the pipe cutter like so, and we are just going to ratchet down until the blade actually touches the mark. Now I want to go ahead and leave a little bit of room for the cap and all that, and I've cut out enough wire on my chicken coop that I can go ahead and have a little bit of wiggle room. So now we're just going to go ahead and make the cut. Oh. And that's it. Okay, so now we've got our pipe set up with the end cap on, and I went ahead and made 3 marks for where the nipples are going to go. I've got 3 chickens. I could probably only use 1 or 2 nipples, but I went ahead and decided to use 3. Now I'm going to be using a drill, so first thing we want to do is put on our safety equipment. We want some good goggles or safety glasses and some gloves. Alright, now that I've got my gloves and my safety goggles on, I am going to go ahead and use my drill. So first thing that I want to do is alright, got my first hole cut. Second hole. And third hole is cut and ready to go. Okay, so you can see that it is time to install our chicken nipples. I've already got the first 2 done, and I'm just going to do what I've done before. Just put the chicken nipple in the hole you've pre-drilled, and it's going to take some pressure to do it, but it will snug down into place. Now, there you go. We have our 3 chicken nipples installed. So this is it. This is finished up. This is the Igloo 5-gallon cooler. Here is our spigot. Still letting the epoxy set up, so I don't have any water just yet. But here is the small section hose we made. There is our connector, which is connected to the PVC pipe, which is attached to both 2x4s. And there are the nipples. So there you go. Tomorrow we will have everything set up and we'll put water in and see how it works. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please leave me a like, comment, subscribe, favorite. And if you have any suggestions how I could improve this, please let me know in the comments. Thanks.